So please, if you are having this kind of situation, you can use background like apa tu? Harul Azri. He had a very proper background like a book, as if like dia dekat dalam, he is in a library. Okay, so that is the thing that you can do. Next one is participation. Make sure you pay attention and be focused throughout the whole lesson. Okay, and you need to be able to answer question whenever you are being called to answer the question, and try to be an active participant. All right, and although this active participation, the marks is not spelled out in your rubric or in your RPP, but this will also be part of the things that I will put some remarks, and those classroom participation will be put into consideration when I finalizing your marks later. Alright, and next, be alert and complete all activities and assessments within the time given. Alright, make sure you complete all the assessment. If you were to complete the assessment after the time given, you are still considered as not completing the task, and tidak hadir or TH will still be given to you, even though you say, Miss, I actually done it, but when do you do it? Okay, if you do it after the deadline, so that's no point. Okay, and every week we will have activities and assessment for you to complete. Okay, so please make sure you do all these activities or all these tasks that has been provided for you to complete for each week. Okay, and if you miss it, as I said, no second chance, and you'll be given TH for that. Because I have mentioned this earlier, so I don't want you to I don't want any complaint or argument saying that you are not being notified, you are not being informed of this arrangement that we have in the class. Okay, next one, chat responsibly, ask, post or post related question or comment only, and use English for communication during the class hours and in your text messages. Alright, and say no to multitasking. What I mean by saying no to multitasking is do not have other classes or of other subject during my class time. Okay, if you are having other classes or other subjects during the class time, what I need you to do is you need to either drop that subject or drop my subject and join other section. It is as simple as that. I want you to focus on only one subject at a time during this time period. Okay, if you were to multitask, it will not bring you anywhere. Okay, you need to make sure that your this subject is the time allocated for this subject is not clashing with your other subject. Okay, and be respectful, be polite, and respect your friends and yourself, so that we can have a very fun and meaningful classes throughout this whole semester. So I guess clear on this? Do you have any problem with this? No? I guess this is similar to your previous lecturer, and you guys have already experienced this. I know that you can do and follow my rules for this semester. Alright, so next is the overview of this course. Okay, so those who haven't gone through the RPP that I had already uploaded in your author, I am going to briefly explain to you what is the subject about. Okay, the name of this subject or course is called Academic Communication, and it is 2 credit hour for your semester. Okay, so it will impact your CGPA lah. Alright, and the time allocated for this course is 1 lecture hour and 2 tutorial hour. Okay, so overall 3 hours. Because we are having it online, so it is rather difficult to finish every face-to-face session within 1 hour. If we were to have a physical class, you come into the campus physically, and we have the normal class, and it is quite possible lah for us to finish everything within 1 hour. But because we are doing it online, it would rather difficult to do so. But I will try to finish everything within 1 hour. Okay, normally what drags me is when you joining the session very late. Some of you only join after at 2:05, at 2:10. Okay, because you are late, that's why we cannot finish it as early as we should. Right? So please put that in mind. If you want to finish early, you need to come and join the session early lah, so that we can finish early. Right? So this course introduces students to academic reading and writing as well as technical writing skills. So you'll be exposed to what is academic reading and writing and how to write a technical document. And then you are expected to read and respond critically to academic materials and technical writing materials. Okay, this semester we will look on how to evaluate text and give out your own opinion on the text that you are reading and write your own technical material. And then students will have the opportunities to develop skills in proposing ideas and producing technical papers. Okay. Also in this semester you will have to get creative a little bit, where you will be perhaps design or perhaps innovate an object or a thing to solve the problem given. Okay, this is part of your assessment later. And then there are 5 topics to cover in 14 weeks that we have to complete for this semester, and you have to complete 4 assessments throughout this semester also for this course. Okay. Just to let you know, all the assessments or all the assignments are in group of 5 people. So we have 40 of you in this class. So meaning that we are going to have 8 group of 5 people, right? Okay. So I guess from this week onward, you can start, recruiting your group members and figure out who you want to work with for all of the assessment, except for one assessment, which is test. Test is individual. Okay, you cannot be doing test in a group, kan? Alright. So the 5 topics that we need to cover for this semester is the first one, introduction to the course, which we will look into it today. And then next topic is critical reading. We will look into it, some part of critical reading for today also. And then oral presentation. Okay, when it comes to oral presentation, last semester you also learned about oral presentation, right? But how is it different last semester's oral presentation and this semester's oral presentation? For the last semester, if you can recall, you focus on how on informing people, right, of the problem as a student or how to survive in higher education, in tertiary education, in a university. But this semester, the oral presentation will focus on how you should convince people, how you should persuade people to accept your idea of the things that you are going to innovate or invent later. Alright, and then we will look into technical communication, where you'll be writing a technical document. And then lastly, report writing, where you will produce a report based on the thing that you have invented later. Alright, so those are the 5 topics. Roughly, the overview of what we are going to do. Yes. Yes?
Sorry,
what
sorry.
You want to share? Who is it? Nasirul, is it?
Yeah, madam. Yeah.
Ah,
Sorry.
maybe you can share with the rest of the class also. What were you talking about just now with your friends?
Uh, my friend talk to me about what? Yeah.
What is it about it?
Uh, I don't know how to say madam. Sorry.
Okay, this is what I said, don't multitask. Because when you were asked to explain, you are not able to explain it. Alright, so next, the 4 assessments that you have to complete. Okay, the first one that you will be, that you will have to complete is the test. Okay, the test will come in at week 5. Okay, on week 5 you will be having the test. The test will cover topic 1 and topic 2, which is introduction to the course as well as critical reading. So that's why today we are going to look into these 2 topics. Alright, because last week we are not able to meet each other face to face, right? So we miss out on the opportunity on me to explain about the topic. So I am going to cover it this week as well as some part of the critical reading topic for this week. If you can see, can you see this? This course schedule, this is available in your author. Okay, you can get this course schedule, a weekly schedule in the author. It will tell you when we are going to have face-to-face class and when we are going to have FOC class. However, for week 3, okay, for week 3, which is next week, right? So next week we are going to have face-to-face class, online class. Why? Because last week we are unable to have an online class, so we are going to replace it for next week. And next week's class is very important because we are going to do a lot of discussion and exercises on prepping you guys for test. Okay, because the test is individual and it brings 30% of your overall carry marks, and this is a very big percentage. So I want you guys to focus and try to understand and absorb as much information as you can, because the test will focus on you applying the skills that we have learned from this week and next week. Okay. All right. Next one is proposal presentation. This is where you will propose the object or the things that you are going to design or you are going to invent. This is for proposal, instruction manual, and technical report. The remaining 3 are all group work. So I want for this week, I want you to as I said, find the group members that you want to work with. Okay, I will let you know when you need to give your group members name later. All right. So proposal presentation 20%, and that will be on week 7 and week 8. Okay, if you look at the weekly schedule, you will notice that after week 7 we will have semester break, right? Okay, so some of you might have the what you call it, conflict lah. Alright, nak raya ke, okay, nak present dulu ke, because it bring 20% of your marks, right? So later we will decide whether you want to present after raya or you want to present first, then you can enjoy your raya. So that's depend. Okay, we will discuss on that later. It's either we draw lot ke, some of you will have to present before raya, some of you will have to present after raya. Okay, so we will discuss more on that later. And then instruction manual will be based on the proposal presentation. Okay, it can only be done after I approve or after I accept your proposal. And then that one is 20%. And lastly, technical specification report. But before that, instruction manual, the deadline for instruction manual will be on week 11. Okay, and then lastly, technical specification report 30%, which is the last assessment that you have to complete, will be on week 14, the last week. Okay, and this course, this subject doesn't have any final exam. So please make sure you focus, you do put 100% or 110% effort for all of the assessment if you plan to get an A for this course, as well as make sure you you take care of your attendance. Okay, if you got 1 TH, you will be getting 1 warning letter. 3 TH means 3 warning letter. Okay, so each week you will have around 2 to 3 tasks that you have to complete. It's either in Google Classroom or any platform that I prefer. Okay, and if you miss out on any of that assessment, you will be given TH. For example, okay, I want you to be aware of the description in the Google Classroom. Some of it will be mentioned as class activity, some of it will be mentioned as class tutorial. Okay, so if you miss the class tutorial assessment or class tutorial task, okay, it means that you miss 2 hour punya jam for the week. Okay, so if let's say you attend online class, kan, so you'll be getting hadiah lah, that one, but you did not do the tutorial for the week. Okay, and then next week also you hadir online class but you still don't do the tutorial. It means that you get 1 TH already, because 2 from the previous week and 2 for this week means 3 hour missing, right? So that is 1 TH, and then warning letter will be generated for you. Okay, so please take care of that weekly task. Alright, so all of this will be put into consideration when I am going to finalizing your marks later. Okay, if you have the ambition, or if you plan to get an A for this course, those are the things that you have to take care of: your attendance, your assessment, right? Okay, but overall will be based on the rubric, and each rubric will be explained to you when I explain to you about the assessment further. Alright, are we clear so far? Do you have any question on that? No?
No.
Yes or no? Ada? Okay. So I hope you guys are clear so far on that course overview. Right, now moving on, I am going to explain to you about the first topic, which is the introduction to the course. Okay. Also, if you think that it is not so clear, the slides are actually uploaded in the Google Classroom. You can download it and view it on your own. Alright, but I am also going to project it to you. Okay, so the first topic, which is the introduction to the course. As I said, this course will focus on the what is academic reading and academic writing. Okay, so I guess by now you know already what is reading and what is writing. If you were reading is basically you read things, you read novel, you read books, you read everything that is around you. in that is available for you to read, and writing everything that you think that you can write. But is what we are going to look into, how is it different between personal and academic one. Okay, so basically academic reading and writing are interconnected because they give a clear sense of ideas that help students to be a good reader, and it leads you to become a good writer. Okay, if you don't read a lot, if you don't read, you will find it difficult for you to write. Do you agree? In any language, not only English, whether it is in bahasa, whether it is in Tamil or Mandarin, basically in general for every languages. Okay, for every language, reading is interconnected with writing. If you don't read a lot, hence it is difficult for you to write because you don't know how to express yourself. You don't know what are the words that you need to use in order to write. Kan? Okay, so that is why it is interconnected. Alright. However, there are several things that you need to consider because how you write, okay, also influenced by, it says here, your individual differences, your linguistic skills, your vocabulary, and your experience with the language. For example, if you grow up reading a lot of comic, okay, no, or fiction book, alright, so it will affect how your language skills, your vocabulary. Okay, kalau you banyak baca comic, if you were to read a lot of comic, so your language will sound more like how you read in the comic. Betul tak? Alright, just like similar when you are speaking with people. If you keep on communicating with some rempit people, okay, the way you speak also will be rempit kan? Do, you do, like that do. Okay, that legit one. Right, and then you don't sound like a formal one. Today I am going to know, right? Okay, so that's why this is also influence on how you write, on how what you read and what you absorb, what you are exposed to, influence on the output. Okay, in this sense, the writing is the output. Okay. Next, students may vary in terms of cultural expectation and attitudes towards reading and writing, which related to the background, family, and society. Okay, what does it mean here? If you are surrounded with the people who read as their daily activity, so it also affect on how you perceive reading activity and writing. Okay, if you are growing up in the community that is always gossiping, so it also affect you on how you write, how you perceive reading. You of course you tak suka reading, isn't it? Or even if you like to read, you like to read gossip section. Yes or no? Rather than orang, if you are having a parents that always bring you to the library, so you will have the tendency to only read academic serious books lah. But if you were to have the kind of family that always talk about the gossip, the entertainment industry, okay, so even when you read, you will find joy reading gossip sections. Okay, I still remember when I was young, when I was in primary and secondary schools, my family will spend our Sunday reading newspaper. Okay, and we will take turn. We will actually take number lah. Okay, I will read first. Okay, but and Sunday newspaper, they are packed with various section. Okay, there'll be sports sections, there'll be news, current news section, there'll be the entertainment sections, and the entertainment section will be always the one that has queue. Okay, then you will have to wait for your queue. Alright, and for me, I like to read the article and help sections, as well as the entertainment sections, because it sparks joy to me when reading. And I guess I developed my reading habits from there. It started with something simple, then it moved on to something serious as I grew older. Okay, so that is the meaning of your cultural expectation and attitude towards reading influence your view on that. Okay, and students have different motivation and strategies in reading. Okay, if you sometimes motivation, if you want to score higher marks, okay, it can bring you motivations to read more and to absorb more information compared to when you don't know what is the purpose of you reading, right? And all of these contribute to different approach, and each student shows that you shows in learning reading and writing in English. Okay, so this kind of thing varies. Okay, not necessarily if this thing works for you and it works for other people. It depends. All right, some of you might think that I like to read for 30 minutes and then I break for 10 minutes and then I continue reading. All right, so it depends. Next, academic reading. So what is it? It requires you to actively engage and critically think about the information that you take in, and it encourages you to ask questions about what you are reading. So academic reading is when you read the information, and then as you are reading, it induces you to ask more questions. It induces you to think, why is the writer say this? Why does the character do this? Why does you have this kind of question? Okay, let's look back on your experience when you learn literature back when you were in school. How would you describe that experience? Azrin Zafira.
Yes, madam.
How would you describe your experience learning literature back when you were in school? Do you like it?
Kind of, because the story was interesting to me.
Okay. Do you still remember what were you studying last time?
No, not much of it.
Not much. What is it about literature that you remember so much?
I remember about the Elephant Man.
The elephant?
Elephant Man.
Hmm.
I studied that Form 3.
Huh? Come again?
Form 3.
Form 3. You learn it in the Form 3. What is it about Elephant Man that you remember?
The Elephant Man is about a guy that have an illness that the people don't know, and they call that as a Elephant Man.
What is it that people don't know?
The illness.
Illness. Okay. So that people don't know. What is the ending of the story?
The Elephant Man died.
What a tragic story for you too. He did. Okay. So when he died, did people knew about his illness?
No.
You don't know. Or you don't remember?
And
You don't know. Okay. Was it a short story?
yes.
Okay. So when you reach the ending of the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you question why is this thing happen? Do you have that kind of question, or why does people unaware of his illnesses?
Yes.
So do you get the answer?
No.
That question that you are having in your head with your teacher?
We're also questioning that at that time, but the teacher just said that at that time people cannot see another people different from anybody.
Did your teacher discuss the timeline of the story?
Yes.
The timeline meaning that the setting for the story lah. At around what year the story is set, please?
I don't remember.
Okay, thank you, Azri. Alright, so when you read, you should have this kind of question. Why does this thing happen? Why does this character behave like that? Okay, because from that you will, it will open new perspective in your mind, open your view of others, of the society also. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to go out and travel the world, right? But we can still travel through our reading. Okay, just by reading, we can learn, people at that place, even though we never been there, behave like that. People at that place, even though we haven't been there, are living their life in certain manners. Okay, we come to learn how people think, how people view of life. Okay, sometimes through this silent interaction lah we are having, through our reading we come to learn about this. So that is why academic reading will take you through a process of understanding your topic, finding your research materials and developing your ideas afterward. Academic reading involves layers of asking questions, reflecting on relationship among parts of the text, analyzing and interpreting meaning, so on and so forth. Sometimes when I was studying my degree, right, my minor was literature. We are not only reading short stories or reading articles, but we also sometimes have to read songs academically. Okay, we will take, there was this one time, my assignment was to take any old Piramli movie or old movie, Malay movie, and I have to explain it academically. So I choose the song called Tunang Pak Dukun. Okay, the movie Tunang Pak Dukun, and I choose one of the song and I explain it academically in one of my presentation. Okay, and you will be surprised that sometimes in a song they actually try to tell you a lot of things, not only from lyric. Okay, especially the songs that talk about how they want to overcome their fears. All right. Okay, moving on. There are types of these are the types of reading materials in the universities. Okay. Sometimes you will be given selected chapters from your textbook, okay, and most of the time you will be given the last one, lecture slides, course notes and assessment criteria. Okay, for this course especially you'll be given this a lot. Right, the length of reading material. Sometimes a certain subject, it will require you to complete weekly reading. So knowing the purpose of your reading, it will determine how much information that you decide that you want to read for a certain week. Okay, I have a question. So you guys are doing what course of study right now? Is it engineering or is it IT? Or if it is engineering, what type of engineering course?
Electrical engineering.
Engineering.
All of you are doing electrical engineering. Okay.
Yes.
So it tells me when you mentioned that you are doing electrical engineering, it tells me that you guys are all going to be a future engineer, and you guys are all actually bright students, smart students. Okay, and it also tells me that having to think critically is very important for engineer. Okay, sometimes especially electrical engineering, sometimes you look at the wiring, okay, it will not tell you sini rosak, sini rosak. No, right? You have to think what is the wrong, what went wrong, okay, that caused the device or the things is not functioning very well. Hence, critical thinking skills is very important for engineer, especially you guys, the future engineer. Alright, hence you will have to do a lot of reading. Because of that, you have to apply some of the strategies. Sometimes you may be taking a break depending on the how long is the reading materials. Okay, these useful strategies might come out. This type of question might come out in your test later, right? I'm not sure with how many percent, but they might ask you, okay, which of these which of these strategies are not part of the reading strategies. Maybe that kind of question come up, or maybe they ask you, the question would ask you what the some useful strategies to reading. So I want you to go back and read this and understand which or some of these understand some of these strategies, and I guess you guys can relate with some of the strategies. Sometimes you need to have a dictionary and a pen to underline the word that you don't understand, isn't it? And sometimes when you are so absorbed into the reading, you want to know more, and it makes you want to do more research on that particular topic. Okay, so I want you to go back and look at these strategies and decide how many strategies out of these 8 that you can relate, that you are actually use it, right? So it helps you to memorize this better. Okay, and then reading. Okay, when you want to read, there are 3 stages of things that you have to do when you are reading. Okay, first is before reading, or also known as pre-reading. Okay, these are the things that you do before you read. Sometimes when you are reading it at your own time, with your own self, okay, without having anyone telling you to read, okay, you don't do any of this, or maybe you do this but without you even aware of it. Understand or not? Do you agree? Sometimes you actually do this warm-up activity, you quickly skim and scan, okay, before you know it. So you take a book, right? Okay, before you actually flip the cover and read, you look at the cover. Then you look at the cover, you look at the synopsis, and then you decide, should I continue reading? Should I continue flip to the next page? Or sometimes you just flip like that. Oh, I understand. And done reading. Okay, some of you did that. Some of you just by looking at the synopsis, I know already what this story is about, what this book is about. Okay, but for, I guess, for textbook you can do that lah. But for novel or fiction book you cannot, right? Because when you read the synopsis, it always induce you to flip the book and read every single word in it, right? And check the vocabulary if it is too difficult. Sometimes, especially when you are reading English book, kan, right? You go and flip the book and check, is there any difficult word? Especially when you go through it once and you see there are so many fancy words, so many bombastic words. Then what happened? Close and put it back. Kan? Right? When I was a student, that was me also. Susah sangat lah ni. And then my mind will be too tired to think and to figure out what exactly the writer is talking about. But if I really have to read the book for the sake of, for the course or the subject that I'm learning, okay, I will, what I did was, I will read a few chapters and then I will discuss with my friend and check my understanding. Okay, we will discuss, especially because as I said, my minor was literature last time. So what I did was I will check back with my group, my classmates, right, and check our understanding. Sometimes we were too immersed with the story or with the novel. We would macam baca, as we are reading, we like having this adrenaline rush, and then if we find it too much to take, and then we will stop reading, and then we will, discuss. Have you read certain part of this story? This character killed this one, this character's husband was so evil. Okay, that was me lah last time. These are the things that you can do before at the pre-reading stage. Okay, I want you to not memorize, but read and understand. These might also come out in the test later. Okay, so I cannot tell. All right, and then you will have during reading. Okay, for especially when you are reading an academic text or your textbook, especially for engineering students, you'll be having a lot of facts that you have to read and memorize, right? Okay, it is very important. If you know what you are reading, you need to know what is your purpose. Sometimes it is useful if you have this kind of reading organizer, all right, to let you know, okay, what is it that you are reading, because later, especially when you are reading textbook and you need to memorize every information, right? You don't have to go back to the book and write and figure out what is it that you have read before, for especially when you are doing revision for the final exam. You can just go back to this organizer and figure out what you have been reading before. Okay, and then after reading is the cool down activity, where you actually check your understanding of the things that you have been reading before. All right, next one, academic writing. Okay, academic writing is a clear, concise, focused and structured written piece. Okay, academic writing is backed up by evidence and fact. The purpose is to aid your understanding. Okay, it is written in a formal tone and style. Okay, last semester, one of the assessment was for you to write an essay, right? Okay, do you consider that essay as an academic writing? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Why do you say yes? Muzammil? Muzammil?
Yes.
Why do you think that your previous semester's essay writing assessment or assignment is considered an academic writing?
Because it relates to literature. Because it relate to something we read or something like literature.
Is it?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you agree with Mariatul? Do you agree with Muzammil?
Yes, true. No?
Mariatul?
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes. Do you agree with Muzammil?
I think I agree with Zamil.
Which part of his answer that you agree?
I can hear clearly Zamil's voice.
Then how come you agree? Because you mentioned yes, it's true. Then suddenly when I ask you which part of the things that he mentioned that you agree, Iqmal? Iqmal Yatul?
Yes. I lost.
Hmm.
Wait a minute.
Which part of
Uh,
the answer that you agree?
About the literature.
Literature part.
Yeah.
Why do you agree? Do you include that
Because
information when in your writing last semester?
in literature we can learn some grammar. We can learn some grammar, and then
Is it?
yeah.
Example? Which part of grammar that you learn in literature? I don't remember learning grammar when I was doing my literature, minor literature.
Uh,
You simplify your answer, right?
yeah. I simplify the answer. Mm,
Mm.
I I don't remember. Madam.
In literature, we don't learn about grammar because literature sometimes they disregard grammar. Okay, yes, they have certain grammar rules, but most of the time, when we study or analyze literature text, we tend to not focus on the grammar part first. Okay,
Yes.
and you certainly don't learn grammar in literature, especially back when you were in school. I don't think your teacher used literature as a medium to teach you grammar. Okay, my question is, in what sense do you that you think your previous essay writing for EAS is part of academic writing? That was my question. You said yes, it is an academic writing. In what sense that your EAS essay writing assignment was an academic writing? It was considered as an academic writing. Yakish,
Mm,
do you think you have the answer?
Yes, madam.
Hmm.
So, madam asked which part of the essay
Yes. In
regards
what
to
sense?
academic, in
That
what
is that.
sense? So, the topic was about us how to survive in university.
University.
So yeah, it is an academic writing because it shows us ways how to survive in the university, probably how to take over the challenges and stuff like that.
So you are basically saying because of the topic, hence
Yeah,
it is an academic writing
yes, I'm saying talking about the topic.
because of the topic.
Yeah,
Alright? Because the topic itself talk about how to survive in university. So university related to academic, hence it is academic writing.
that is
Is
how
it?
I relate. Yeah, that is how I related it.
Okay. I guess it's partially true. Okay, Yakesh, Tamigan,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is your opinion?
I think the essay writing is academic writing because so academic writing is a clear and concise, focused thing. So I think what we learned in the last time is also about that. It's a very focused and clear stuff that how we're going to survive in university. So I think it's academic writing.
Okay, you also mentioned topic. Alright, I guess
Yeah.
you need to broaden out your perspective. You need to relate it back. Okay, when your lecturer, okay, thank you, Tamigan. Alright, if you recall back what you have learned before you actually write an essay, especially those who went to Miss Fadila's class, okay, I believe she taught you the structure of the essay. Yes or no? Yes, right. She taught you that essay should be in 5 paragraphs. True? Kan? Okay, she also taught you that in order to make sure that your essay is organized, use the Bing Bang Bongo method. True or not? Do you recall of these informations? Okay, so not only the topic, it needs to be clear and concise. You also need to have structured and an organized way of writing. Hence, that tells you it is an academic writing because you need to write your essay within 5 paragraphs. You need to have an introduction. You need to have a conclusion, right? So these are all the structures that you have to follow. Because of that, your essay writing last semester is considered as academic writing, not only the topic that you mentioned just now. Okay, understand? So that is actually the answer to your question, not when you said that, oh, literature, you learn grammar through literature. Okay, it tells me that you were not paying attention. You were busy talking with your friends. As I said, do not multitask. Okay, next, moving on, the common characteristic of an academic writing. Okay, it should be planned and focused. When you have the topic that you want to write about, you start to plan what are the information that you want to include, and you will decide what is your focus, whether you want to talk about the ways, whether you want to talk about suggestions, whether you want to talk about reasons only. All right, so you will have all of these characteristics in your writing. And then structure, you have you know that you need to have the 5 paragraphs, which one, what you want to include in your introduction, how you want to write your conclusions, what you need to include in your body paragraph. Okay, so that is all part of the structure. All right, then evidence. Demonstrate knowledge of the subject area, supports opinion and argument with evidence and reference accurately. Okay, this one, evidence, even if you are writing about how to, you mentioned just now, the topic was revolved around how to survive in a university, right? So what kind of evidence should you include in your writing? Okay, the examples can be considered as evidence. All right, when you say that in order to survive in a university, you need to eat properly. The evidence, maybe you can say that if you do not eat properly, you will be hospitalized. You can say that the number of cases that people have been hospitalized because of poor diet throughout their study life curve and whatnot. So this is part of the evidence. Formal in tone and style, okay, and precise language, your language should not, when you are writing, you should not sound as if you are talking. Okay, there are sometimes when we read, we can sense that it was as if like you are talking, but via writing. In actual academic writing, it shouldn't be like that. Okay, when you read your textbook, you will notice that people don't talk like this, isn't it? Okay, especially in bahasa Melayu lah. Okay, how you speak in front of other is not how you write it's not how you read in the book. Okay, what happen if, let's say lah, in bahasa kan, you want to ask people where do you want to go, right? Okay, and then you ask your friend, awak hendak ke mana? Do you use that kind of language when you speak? No kan? If you were to say to your roommate after this, maukah anda mengikut saya pergi ke kafe? Of course you don't speak like that. Kan? That is the difference between how you are speaking and then written language. Okay, so of course when you want to ask people, you just ikut tak? Okay, you omit the adakah anda mahu mengikut saya pergi ke? Oh, if you were to speak like that, you after 5 minutes then only you start moving to the cafe, isn't it? Lambat lagi kau nak siap kerja. Right, so that is the reason why when you are writing, you have to be focused on, you have to be aware of this tone and style of your writing. Okay, the rest you can read. And this one also, I guess you can read it on your own. Okay, there are 10 principles in academic writing. Okay, when I don't discuss this in the class, doesn't mean it doesn't come out in your test. It do come out. So please make sure that you read and try to remember these principles of writing. Okay. I just need to fast forward because we have another topic that we need to discuss for today. Alright, some differences between academic writing and personal writing. Alright, this is similar when I give you the example of how you speak and how you write is different. Okay, academic writing makes use of complex sentences while personal writing does not. Okay, for example, example of personal writing, your Instagram caption, your WhatsApp status, your Facebook status, your Twitter, your tweet. Okay, even a simple word could explain so much, right? For example, after this or during this class, you tweet, Miss Lina boring. Okay, Miss Lina is a boring lecturer. Okay, even if you say Miss Lina boring, you totally omit all the grammatical rules, people still get your meaning, isn't it? But in academic writing, if you were to say Miss Lina is actually boring, you kena tulis in a proper sentence with full and correct grammar structure. Then only you can say that, oh, Miss Lina is actually a boring person because she doesn't allow us to blah 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 blah. Panjang sembang, right? So that is the difference between academic writing and personal writing, because personal writing usually doesn't focus more on the how you say it, grammar form of it, the formal form of it. And academic writing does not contain slang or colloquialism, but personal writing does. Okay, you can see this a lot when you go through Twitter. Yes or no? You will see that people use informal language. People be like, that is actually informal language. Okay, informal writing. It is personal writing. The word like you say that I legit like that. Okay, you understand that sentence, you understand the meaning of the person who tweet that, but if it is transferred into an academic writing, it is considered as wrong. Okay, because it is not grammatically correct and it doesn't have a proper subject verb agreement. Okay, however, you find it more interesting to read personal writing compared to academic writing. Do you agree? So you can spend hours and hours on the Twitter Jaya, okay, and be happy and be content with it. Okay, especially when you see ini adalah thread, you pun baca lah. Panjang-panjang mana berbenang itu pun you baca lah, isn't it? Okay, because it is something that you can relate with. And academic writing, although it is something that you can relate, but sometimes you find it difficult to understand. Okay, and in academic writing, the use of short sentences is minimal and the use of complex sentences is usually heavy. Okay, this is what we discussed just now, right? Despite it is a benang, despite it is a thread, you still read it anyway because of the short sentences. Okay, just by reading one tweet, oh, you get the whole meaning of it. Alright, and then adalah orang masuk, and then the next thing you know, oh, you spend 2 hours on Twitter just by reading those threads. And then you go out and say, I am well informed. I know already. I know this berita already. Right? Very woke people. Yes or no? Just so you know, I only have tweet just to, you know, be a silent reader and laugh at people. I don't retweet and you cannot find my account lah. I am that. I discuss myself, especially when I see some UTHM troll. Do you follow that account? I see what you guys talk behind your lecturer. Adalah, I see some of my friends' name being mentioned, and then we're like, woo, gossip. Alright, and then we will report it to our dean. See what the students talk about us. Can like entertainment for you and me also. Alright, spy account, yes. I create the account just to know what my student think of the institution lah. Sometimes it was funny, sometimes it but most of the time it tells us it gives us feedback, okay, how we should improve ourselves. Okay, students don't like this, maybe we can omit this. Students don't like this, maybe we can do this. Alright, so that is the purpose of me in that Twitter. And I also like to follow some account that give a very informative information. For example, why these two political party clash with one another, and what are the worldview of Donald Trump. He was a very weird US president last time, so it was a very fun way to learn about the world, besides having to read the information traditionally via newspaper. Sometimes, as I said, because the academic writing, the use of short sentences is minimal, and it contains more of complex sentences. There are times when I want to read, but I don't want to read complex sentences because my head is too heavy with things already. I don't want to burden my head, so I just go to light reading. So my kind of light reading would be reading Twitter tweets lah. Okay, besides reading other people's punya status and make fun silently in my head and my brain. Yes, reading comments. Okay, it was funny how people have the confidence to comment on other people. Alright, do not be a keyboard warrior, people. Okay, be mindful on what you type on the internet, because it will haunt you later. Because especially nowadays they have the what you call it, the memory kan. 2 years ago what did you post? 10 years ago what did you post? And then you learn how stupid you were last time. And then what was I thinking? Okay, so nowadays I am actually very mindful on what I type on my social media, because looking back and what I did type last time on my status, I was like, oh, I wish I did not do that. Okay, alright. Sometimes I do find, oh, I was funny last time, but there are times also macam, oh, what is this cringy woman think last time? Okay, so yeah, because my mother always tell that if we want people to perceive us as a good person, so we must portray something good, we must write something good, right? Kalau kita tulis, if we were to write something bad, keep on bashing other people, so people will perceive you as that kind of person lah. So yeah, what my mother said was absolutely correct. Okay, follow what your mother said. Mother knows best. Okay, coming back to this. Alright, academic versus personal writing. Alright, so these are the examples, the type of it. Documents such as essay, thesis paper, business correspondence, academic newspaper. Alright, it is normally used in professional purposes. And then personal writing, for example, personal email, text messages like your WhatsApp. Okay, after this you go back and look at your WhatsApp text. You will notice that apa-apa, okay, you did not use a formal writing. Even if you were, you will be starting to cringe at yourself. What was I thinking? And then your friend also will think, yalah formal sangat, isn't it? Okay. And personal writing may also include personal blog and social media and chat conversation among your friends. And personal writing are not often associated with rules or any format. You, as I said, you totally disregard the format, you totally disregard the grammar part of it. Okay. And then this one is a writing process, the flow of it. When you want to write an essay, first you need to choose a topic, and then after you choose the topic, you brainstorm what is it that you want to include in your writing, and then after you decide on what is it that you want to include in your writing, you start to do research to find more things to put into your writing, and then you start to write your thesis statement and plan how you want to write. Then only you start writing. After you finish writing, you will revise the things that you have written and edit and proofread. Proofread is where you check the if there is any mistake in your writing. You look at the grammar, you look at the spelling, you look at all the punctuation. If after everything is perfect and proofread by you and perhaps your friends, then only you submit. Okay. If you make any claim or judgment or statement about something in academic writing, there is an expectation that you will support your opinion by linking it to what a publisher or author has previously written about the issue. Okay, in high level, as you go along, if like Kamaruzi just now mentioned that he wished that in the future I will become a professor. One of the reasons why I don't want to become a professor just yet is because I need to do a PhD, and when I have to do a PhD, I have to do a lot of reading and I have to write a lot. And when I write a lot, I have to link my opinion with other people who they have been saying the same thing like what I want to say. Okay, because of that, I don't want to do my PhD just yet because I've done it before for my master. I was so tired, so I want to rest for a few good years. No, not anytime soon lah for me to do my PhD. So when every time when we quote other people, we need to reference it, because if you don't, you will be charged as plagiarizing other people's work. Okay. Similar when you for example when you, especially on YouTube, if you notice kan, when you edit your video and then you include a certain song, okay, suddenly the YouTube ban your video because you doesn't credit the owner of the song. Okay, so similar in academic writing, whenever you, when Yakish said is right, copyright. Okay, in academic writing we also have something like copyright. Okay, so that is the reason why you need to mention the author. Okay, where do you get the information? The term that we use in academic writing is citing. Okay. See at the second point, however, besides paraphrasing, you are required to do proper citing. So citing is when you mention who made that statement. Okay, so that is known as citing. All right, and at the back of your assignment, you are the reference. Where you write down the origin of the article that you said that author ni cakap macam ni dekat sini. Okay, so that is what we call citing and referencing. Okay, there are two formats that is commonly used. Okay, MLA and APA. At your level diploma, at this stage, it is not compulsory for you to do this just yet. Okay, but as you go along, as you do your degree, as you do more research, okay, then only you have to do this. And later, your supervisor, maybe your PA will explain to you more on how to do this. Okay, because if you don't, you will be charged as plagiarizing other people's work, and it is considered as cheating. Okay. Right, that's the end of the first topic. Okay, so as part of this topic, you will be assigned to task 1 in Google Classroom. Okay, which you have to do, which you have to complete it by 31st, by Wednesday. Right. So now I am going to give you 4 minutes break, and we will come back at 4. Okay, Boleh? You want a break or you want to just continue? You want me to continue? You want me to continue? Continue? Go break.
Okay,
Break,
fine.
madam.
Break, madam.
Break, madam. Break.
Your 4 minutes break starts now. Alright, let's come back, everyone, so that we can finish this session. Alright, so moving on, today we are going to look into the first part of critical reading, which is topic 2. Okay, this topic, this part is also going to be test, okay, in your test later. For critical reading, responding critically to academic reading text. Okay, so if you are a critical thinker, then you do not necessarily believe everything you read or hear, because you tend to analyze the idea and judge them by your own set of values. Okay, your own set of values mean what you have, your background knowledge and what you have experienced before in regards of the topic that you are reading. Alright, so you ask yourself, were you a critical thinker when, especially nowadays, we have so many fake news, right? When you read things on the internet, do you instantly believe things that you read, or you pause for a while and evaluate? Okay, ask yourself that kind of question. If you do pause a little bit and evaluate the information, then you are critical thinker. Okay, critical reading is a more active way of reading. It is a deeper and more complex engagement with the text, where you analyze, interpret, and evaluate the text that you are reading. Okay, when we read critically, we use our critical thinking skills to question both the text and our own reading of it. Okay, when you read, you always question, is it true? Is it, why does the author, write it in this manner? What does the author point of view? So you ask this kind of question. Oh, orang ni macam ni, orang ni macam ni. Oh, why? Kenapa dia buat macam ni? Apa? So this kind of question keep on going on in your head. Alright, it is an active process that is happening in your head. It is an ability to think clearly and rationally, understanding the logical connection between ideas. And one simple example of critical thinking is the ability to recognize fake news, as I said just now. Right, nowadays there are so many fake news, especially when you have a family groups, kan? Your father, your mother likes to spam your family group. This forward dari group sebelah, Semedang dari group sebelah. Okay, then you read, and then you need to decide whether the information is correct or not. Sometimes, especially when your parents share with you some fake news, but they don't know it is a fake news, and then you contemplate with yourself, how to tell my father that this news is not true, kan? Because your father might be offended. Oh, kau cakap aku salah ke? Alright, so you need to figure out a way pula lah. Then you actually think critically on what are the, how to write properly, so that your father knows it is a fake news and he is not offended by how you tell him. Alright, and because it requires you to use your ability to reason, and it is about being an active learner rather than a passive recipient of the information. When you want to decide whether the information is true or not, you need to justify. You need to give reason. Okay, this information is not true because blah 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 blah. Alright, so that is what it means by you is a critical thinker, and it tells you that you are reading critically. Okay, critical thinker question ideas and assumptions rather than accepting them at face value. Okay, before you accept, you question first. You don't straight away accept the informations. Right? They will always seek to determine whether the idea or argument and findings represent the entire picture and are open to finding that they do not. Okay, And critical thinkers will identify, analyze and solve problems systematically rather than by intuition and instinct, right? And you always, this is before you actually become a critical reader, you need to develop this skill first. Okay, it has a step to it. All right, which we will look into that next week. But the first process would be for you to distinguishing fact and opinion. When you know whether that information or whether that statement is a fact or opinion, then only you can reason out, okay, whether or not you want to accept the news or whether or not you want to accept the statement. Okay, distinguishing fact and opinion. All right, if it is a fact, the statement can be proven true or false. Okay, an opinion is an expression of a person's feelings and it cannot be proven. For example, okay, I think that I like section 19 better than section 17. Okay, meaning that I like you better than that person. Okay, is it an opinion or a fact?
Opinion.
Opinion. Why is it an opinion?
Because we don't know how to. We just wait.
Because it is not a fact, right? You can challenge. Okay, kalau you buat perangai sikit, I dah tak suka you. True or not? Kan? Just like when you say that, okay, when you ask your friend, why do you like that person? And then your friend, yes, Imran. Okay, it is about feelings. When you ask, for example lah, Fadlan ask Ashraf, do you like Hasirul? Okay, Fadlan asked Ashraf, do you like Hasirul? And then Ashraf said, oh, I like Hasirul because he is a well-mannered person. And then Fadlan said, no, he is not well-mannered person. Okay, it is an opinion because he can challenge and it cannot be proven. Okay, in what sense? Manner, in what sense you say that he is a well-mannered person? How do you prove that he is a well-mannered? Ada ke dia punya apa kata? A scale of manner that he achieve or he tick all the check box. Okay, so opinions can be based on fact or emotion and sometimes they are meant to deliberately mislead others. Therefore, it is important to be aware of the author's purpose and choice of language. Okay, you just need to know this, to know that if it is a fact, it can be proven. Okay, you can do an experiment, you can go and measure the things that is being mentioned. Okay, sample of fact and opinion. Sometimes the author lets the facts speak for themselves. The following is an example of a fact. Okay, with fewer cars on the road, there would be less air pollution and traffic noise. Therefore, the use of mass transportation should be encouraged. Okay, why is it a fact? Why is it a fact? Shafiqah?
Yes,
Why is it a fact?
because when there are more cars on the road, the air
There will be
from
more air pollution.
yes, there will be more air pollution.
Okay, it is a fact because you can actually do an experiment, kan? Alright, you can, for example, you put more cars on the road and then you measure the air pollution. Is it more or not compared to if it is fewer cars on the road? Okay, you can actually measure it. Alright, next one. It says here the statement is an opinion and you tell me why. Okay, do you like looking at a smoky view from a congested highway? How do you feel about fighting road hugs and bumper to bumper traffic every day? Mass transportation is the solution to all these problems. Why do you think that this is an opinion? Nurin.
Yes, madam.
Why do you think the statement is an opinion? Can hear myself.
I can't hear you clearly.
Cannot hear me.
I can hear you clearly. I can't hear you clearly.
Maybe because
Can
the sound coming through the speaker of your laptop, not your earphone. I can hear myself.
Oh yeah. Can you hear me, madam?
Not.
Better, can I try?
Okay. Apa Nurin bagi Kailasha?
I feel it's an opinion because the question is asking, how do you feel? So that's the key point, that they are asking our opinion. So that's how I assume they are asking our opinion.
Alright. The word feel, it indicates feelings, right? It indicates emotion. Also, if you look at the sentences, do you like looking at a smoky view from a congested highway? How do you feel about fighting a roadblock? And then suddenly he said mass transportation is the solution to all of these problems. If, let's say, if you say that I like looking at the smoky view from a congested highway, meaning that the person has the opposite feeling of what it is being mentioned, so mass transportation would not be the solution, isn't it? So that's why it is an opinion. Alright? Okay. It is important to judge fact and opinion carefully in order to come to the right conclusion. Ask yourself, are the facts reliable and or are the opinions based on the fact? Okay. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, if it is a fact, it can be proven and you can verify the information. Okay, whether you flip through the encyclopedia, you go through the internet and do research, alright? Perhaps because certainly other people must have done research and must have measured the things that you think about. Okay, and it always represents statement of truth, and it is neither influenced nor based on the personal feelings, taste or opinion. Okay, it is not influenced by personal feelings. Alright, can be in the form of statistic or numbers, and they can be result of research or an experiment. Meanwhile, opinion, it cannot be proven. Okay, it is something that is vague. As I said just now, if I were to say that nasi lemak is the best dish in Malaysia, you can say that no, it is mee goreng because you like mee goreng better compared to nasi lemak. Or you can say that no, it's not nasi lemak, it's nasi kandak. Okay, so that's why things that is related to feeling or personal belief is often considered as opinion. Alright, and it can be argued and it can be questioned, and it relates to how someone feels about something. Okay, these are the examples of fact and opinion. Alright, you can go through this and look how each of the statement is considered as fact or opinion. This one is for your self-reading. Okay. Why a fact and opinion is so important? Okay, the ability to distinguish between fact and opinion helps you to develop your critical and analytical skills in both your reading and your listening. Fact and opinion are often woven together in text and speeches. Distinguishing between the fact and opinion is crucial to become an autonomous person with the critical ability to necessary to avoid being manipulated easily. Okay, look at the third point. What is it just now? You want to say something? Okay, distinguishing between what is fact and what is opinion is crucial in becoming an autonomous person. What is the meaning of autonomous person? Fancy word that one. Derived from what word? Datang dari perkataan apa?
Autonomy.
Autonomy, automatic. Okay? When you heard this word, what is it that comes through your mind? Self-generated, yes. This is something that you want to achieve when you read. Okay? Ability to think critically, ability to become a critical reader. You want to develop this autonomous way of reading critically. Okay? By knowing how to distinguish between fact and opinion. Autonomous, where you are able to do it instantly, automatic. Okay, you don't have to go through a certain process. Oh, kena buat research dululah then only you determine it is a fact. No. Okay? As you read more and more, you will develop, and as you read more and more and you keep on asking questions in your head, you will develop this autonomous of to think critically or to become a critical reader better. Okay, you kena banyak baca, you need to keep on questioning on everything that you are reading. Okay, and also the benefit of you knowing how to distinguishing fact and opinion is it helps you to avoid being manipulated easily. Manipulated means people cannot simply make fun of you or lie to you. Okay, being manipulated. Kadang orang twist cerita sikit, you dah macam, oh ya ke? Oh macam tu No, you will not become that kind of person. Alright? So general tips on distinguishing between fact and opinion. Okay, these are the keywords. Just now, Kailasha, do you have a nickname?
You can call me Kai Man.
Kai. Macam K-pop artist pula nama dia. Alright, Kai mentioned that Kai handsome. I guess you are handsome also lah, Kai. Alright, where was I? Yes, like Kai mentioned just now, there's a key point. Alright, so you need to know how to distinguish the key word, whether it is a fact or an opinion. Alright, so these are the examples. I guess you can read it on your own later. And next thing that you have to know is you need to know the context of the fact or the statement or that is being written. So basically, what is context? Okay, it mentioned here in the slides, it is a circumstances surrounding an event, statement or idea, and in terms of which it can be fully understood. For example, a young boy who tells his mother, I ate a truckload of sweets at the party last night. Okay, needs to be placed in the context of his age and audience. We can confidently infer he never actually ate a real truckload of sweets, but we can reasonably appreciate he ate a lot of them and wanted to emphasize that point. Alright, speaking of context, right? Earlier, at the beginning of this lesson, I asked one of your friends just now, siapa nama dia tadi? Azrin, okay? If she can recall the literature text that she had learned before, back when she was in school. And then she mentioned The Elephant Man. She also mentioned a brief synopsis of and the rest of you also mentioned the brief synopsis of the story. Okay, the story is about a man who is ill and eventually died at the end of the story, but the people still don't know about his illness. Yes, mentioned that, right? If I remembered it correctly. Okay, and I also asked her whether or not she questioned why does the people still don't know the Elephant Man's illness at the end of the story. And then Azrin said that her teacher mentioned it was okay for the people at that round of time because they were not aware of that kind of illness. So this basically tells us about the context. For example, if I were to give an example about personal writing just now without using the the examples like Twitter, your Facebook status, I guess that it is kind of like difficult for you to understand. But because I put it in the context of Twitter, it is easier for you to understand because you can relate and then you experience it also, right? You understand what I was talking about. But if I were to give that kind of example to Mr. Raouf, so those who have been studying with Mr. Raouf, do you think Mr. Raouf will understand? No, right? Because he was not living in that age, because he might not be familiar with what Twitter is. Okay? I want to give you some example. There was this one time, right, when I was having a conversation with my friend. Okay? She talked about the application of Telegram. You know, Telegram is similar to WhatsApp and whatnot, right? But at that time, I don't know that the Telegram apps exist. Saya tak tahu pun ada Telegram apps. So she mentioned that, oh, actually my husband know about that from Telegram, and then my context of Telegram was the old version of Telegram. Understand or not? Kena hantar, ada orang hantar bagi tu. So I was like, huh? Why? If you said that your husband got to know of the news through Telegram, you know, it will take sometimes, right? And she keep on mentioning the chains of messages through Telegram. So I was like, what were you talking about? I don't understand. Alright, then only she explained, oh, Telegram tu apps lah, bukan Telegram yang lama yang orang hantar macam postman tu. And I was like, oh, that thing exists? Okay, I'm not saying that I'm old, I'm just that I wasn't aware of the existence of the apps, because at that time Telegram was still new. Okay, so that is what I mean by context. Okay, sometimes we have to put things into context so that everything, the statement or the opinion or the fact that we read, it is easier for us to understand why is it that way. Okay, all right, that's all for today. Okay, do you have any question? Yes, no question. Yes, question, no question. Don't know, don't care. Okay, obviously there'll be no questions whether we are having class physically or not. Of course, always no question. Because you don't have any question, then I have question.